history of sex. Birds do it, bees do it, and humans, since the beginning of time, have done it. Just as our bodies tell us what we might like to eat or when we should go to sleep, they lay down for us our pattern of lust. People, and indeed all animals, are hardwired to seek out sex and to continue to do so. Indeed, cultural restraints, rather than anything anatomical, have had the biggest effect on our sexual history. Desire surges from the body, the mind interprets what society will accept, and the rest of the signals are edited out by culture. Though the way sex is perceived varies from culture to culture, one thing is for sure: sex has always been around. In the caveman era, many historians have heard of accounts of cavemen paintings and sexual acts, including naked people. In the Greek era, eroticism, homosexuality, narcissism, nymphomania, and pederasty. All these terms are derived from the language of ancient Greece, which tell you something about its society. From the early 6th century to the early 4th century, the culture of sex flourished in Athens. Prostitution, lesbianism, bisexuality, and homosexuality all were common practices. The Greeks worshipped many gods, one of them being Aphrodite, the goddess of sexual intercourse. And then came the Romans. With the nod to the ancient Greeks, the worship of another Roman god, Bacchus, inspired Romans to party with wild abandon, as copious consumption of wine often led to rampant sexual couplings during festivals. The party's over. Sex and the Middle Ages. This was a time period where Christianity was a major influence. In a complete turnaround from the freewheeling Greeks and Romans, sex in the Middle Ages would have been unrecognizable to the ancients, as sex became a necessary evil. It was almost looked down upon. Sex outside marriage was considered heresy, as was homosexuality or masturbation. Even contraception was viewed as promoting lust and sex. Sex marches on. As Western civilization got a firmer footing, however, the Renaissance reversed course on sexual restrictions. Renaissance artwork and sculpture resulted in an orgy of human nakedness like never seen before. While Victorian attitudes still echoed well into the 20th century, a new sexual revolution appeared in the 1960s that proved to be a watershed decade, as the birth control pill allowed women much more sexual freedom. However, with the advent of a worldwide AIDS epidemic, as well as other sexually transmitted diseases, the revolution was over a short 2 decades later. Today, while its allure still helps sell everything from toothpaste to automobiles, sex remains an important factor on society's views, although not by any means consistently. In the US, for example, where conservative religious views help influence acceptable sexual behavior, public opinion on homosexuality and same-sex marriage remains surprisingly liberal and forward-looking. The sexual revolution goes on. The end.